Good morning people, today we're talking about the Nike MetCon 8, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the shoe against what Nike have always said the MetCon is specifically designed to do and give our view on how well it performs against each of these criteria. Here at Metabolic Conditioning we publish new follow-along workouts every week, and we've put these shoes through a punishing schedule of filming WOD workouts over the last 100 days, and we're going to be sharing everything we've learned about the shoe along the way. Now briefly, before we get into the review, here is a quick fire rundown of some key points and questions you may have off the bat. So what is the MetCon 8 good for? HIIT style workouts, functional fitness, CrossFit, or anyone who likes to squat or deadlift, but importantly you want a single pair of shoes that you can wear for other types of exercise in the gym. It's also a shoe that works well for kettlebell workouts, cardio sessions, and in particular on the bike and on the rowing machine. So what can you get away with in the shoe? Well, shortish sprints and runs up to 5k. The shoe was noticeably better for running than the MetCon 6, which has been my regular workout shoe up until now. So what is a shoe not so good at or designed for? Running for any medium to long-term distances, particularly if you're a heel foot striker, which means your natural running stride, you strike the ground with the heel of your foot first, and we'll explore all of this in more detail in the review itself. So in terms of lockdown and the upper of the shoe, this is where we've seen most of the visual changes. The upper of the MetCon 8 is now made of a new lightweight mesh, which has a different look, feel and texture to the chain link mesh used on the 7s. Nike say this is the most durable upper yet, and based on my experience of the shoe, I tend to agree. For example, I know that for some heavyware users of the MetCon 7, the upper of the shoe split at the weaker points where the reinforced area met the lighter texture of the shoebox. Now the MetCon 8 upper in comparison feels more robust throughout, removing these weaker points. In terms of breathability, these did feel the most breathable MetCons we've used yet. The added durability comes not from the type of lightweight mesh Nike used in the 8, but instead from the hardened texture which runs across the whole of the outside of the shoe and is doubled up with additional mesh on the medial side of the shoe. From a side-on view, you get a good sense of just how thick that robust and hardened texture is on the shoe. Now, the lace lock has also been updated. To fasten and lock the laces in the upper position, this removes the issue that a number of athletes flagged around the locking of the laces in the 7s in the lower position, which would tug on the second lace down and then loosen over time. The eyelids of the laces have changed, with the fly wire on the outside being dropped for a more traditional round eyelid. While visually, I think these make the MetCons less distinctive, there is good reason for the change. On the MetCon 7s, this became a point of failure where the rigid rope guard that ran on the inside of the shoe met the tabs. This caused friction and eventually it pulled away from the inside medial side of the shoe. Now, in terms of mobility, the big takeaway is you have more mobility in this shoe than previous models. There are a number of reasons for this, mainly due to changes that aren't obvious to the eye. To put it simply, there is more flexibility and less rigidity in the front part of the shoe. This is part due to there being a thinner layer of React foam in the front section of the shoe. This means more feedback to your body and a closer body to ground connection. It also means slightly more transfer through the knees, which is noticeable in comparison to the 7s. Personally, we think this is a good thing. We are big advocates for minimalist shoes where possible, and increasing that mind to body to earth connection is a good thing. The difference in mobility becomes even more apparent as we put the shoe through HIIT style workout exercises, whether that be burpees, box jumps or skipping. Whether more mobility in the shoe is a good or a bad thing depends on the type of workouts or exercises you want to do more of in the shoe. For lifting, that more rigid feel running through the whole of the shoe is usually better, but if you're jumping up and down and undertaking more HIIT style workouts, then the added flexibility and mobility really comes into its own. Turning to grip performance, the under of the shoe is split into two quadrants. The front section is grooved with a texture that runs across 4 strips. This allows for lots of flexibility in the front portion of the shoe. The mid part of the sole tapers to allow you to tuck the rope in tight when gripping between the feet during rope climbs. Moving to the rear part of the shoe, which has a textured grip which sits on top of the hyperlift insert to keep the rear of the shoe firmly stuck to the ground during lifts and stable footed when using free weights or gym machine work. The MetCon 8 has a 4mm drop from heel to toe, which is identical to the previous model. The shoe is however lighter, weighing in at around 20 grams less than the Metcon 7. Metcons have notoriously not been great for running. Part of me was hoping this might change with the 8s. Whilst I think they are fine for a mile either side of a Murph WOD or anything up to a 5k park run, I wouldn't recommend using them for longer distances. It's worth saying this will be less of an issue for anyone who runs on their toes. That mobility in the front of the shoe I mentioned makes it easier to strike with just the front section of the shoe. Now on to stability. The toe box is slightly narrower than the previous 7s models. This is probably my #1 gripe with the shoe. Nike, if you're listening, for the Metcon 9s, let's have a wider toe box. Cramped up toes are never good for stability. Sizing of the shoe is still a true fit to form. Now moving on to the rear of the shoe, this is where we've seen reductions in the amount of cushioning in the Achilles area. In practical terms, during workouts, this translates to less heel slip on lunges or lateral movements. So what does this all mean for you and I? In summary, if you have a wider foot and you want something that's marginally more lifting focused, then the Metcon 7 is likely still the best shoe for you. However, if you have a narrower foot or you want more of an all-rounder, then the Metcon 8 is our winner and likely the best choice for you. Whether you choose to go for the Metcon 8, the 7 or any other training shoe, if you found this video helpful, do shop for yours at WIT Fitness using the first link in the video description. This will get you 10% off your purchase, getting you a cheaper product and helping us make more videos like this. If you want to know more about the Nike Metcon, do check out a mini documentary about the shoe's history up here. And if now or in the future, do check out the Nike Metcon Amplified workout available here.